The group stage is finished. The first part of the Champions League has come to a close, and we know who will be competing in the round of 16 now. Who's going to the Europa League to play in Verdansk? Well, you can't play in Verdansk anymore, actually. And who's out? Who's eliminated? Finished? Let's go through all of that, and later today, we'll keep the tradition alive of going for a double upload when the Champions League group stage finishes, and we'll go through my group stage predictions and have a laugh together. And if you wanted to know the ins and outs of football, all the latest breaking news faster than I can produce it, then our sponsors and friends, OneFootball, have got you covered. OneFootball's app provides a ton of customization so that all of the news you are getting sent straight to your phone is custom tailored to your interests. Just follow players, competitions, and clubs and get kept up to date on all of the news you care about in football. Watch videos like in-depth and behind-the-scenes interviews straight from the club, straight from the source, highlights, and even stream matches live in some cases. Also, the January transfer window is coming up, so you can track transfers on OneFootball and see their rumor rating for each one, how strong they are. You get all of this for the price of free. Use the link in the description for a free download on the operating system of your choice, Android Army for me, sorry for hitting the mic, and enjoy a life of fast football updates. Thanks OneFootball, and let's go. Let's start with Group A, as for the most part, it was one of the groups that was all sorted, bar the Europa League places. RB Leipzig, fresh off of firing Jesse Marsch, hosted Manchester City, and clearly Pep's words of how the match would provide a perfect training game for City hit home in the Leipzig dressing room, as the German side were much improved against a City who took the opportunity to rest some regulars and give opportunities to some of their bench and more fringe players, I guess you could call them in a sense, even though they're not really fringe. Leipzig's first goal was a beauty, as Konrad Laimer played a perfect through ball to Szoboszlai, and he rounded Steffen to make it 1-0, very well taken by him. And it's also so nice to see him back and playing regularly after that lengthy injury last season that forced him to miss most of the second half of the campaign once he had made the switch from Salzburg to Leipzig. I almost said from Szoboszlai to Leipzig. A mix-up at the back from City allowed Forsberg to pounce and pick out Andre Silva, who lashed it into the bottom corner perfectly. Great finish. And while City did pull one back via Riyad Mahrez, Kyle Walker also got himself sent off and subsequently suspended for their next match. Give some love to Mahrez, though, who has been in incredible form for City. 9 goals in his last 10 UCL appearances as well. 2-1 Leipzig, the final there. In the other match, Messi and Mbappe ravaged Club Brugge, as the Belgian side had a horrible final 4 matches of this group. After starting so well and looking like they would be a thorn in the side of PSG and City throughout this group, they went on to concede at least 4 goals in their final 4 matches. This time was no different, as they lost 4-1 against PSG, Messi and Mbappe with 2 apiece. While Messi's strike rate has been shocking in Ligue 1, he's absolutely performing in the Champions League. It looks like the Messi of old as far as goal return go as well. He looked great out there. That goal he scored is just iconic Messi, cutting in from the left. So the final standings see City on top, PSG in second, Leipzig dropped into Europa League, and Club Brugge in fourth. Group B, where there was a ton of fun to be had, as the bottom 3 were scrapping it out for a spot in the round of 16, or at the very least, a spot in the Europa League. That's the runners-up prize. The runners-up to the runners-up prize. Anyway, AC Milan hosted Liverpool at the San Siro, and my goodness was it ever bumping in that stadium. Milan fought well up against a heavily rotated Liverpool side, heavily rotated but still boasting Salah and Mane in the attack, not to mention Mr. Clutch himself, Divock Origi. But what was the most impressive was their back line of Nico Williams, Tsimikas, Nat Phillips especially, and Konate. All things considered, that back line did pretty great. AC Milan have an injury crisis of their own, so their squad was rotated in some ways also. Anyway, Milan got an early lead when Tomori pounced on a rebound from a set piece. Set pieces were always going to be a potential tough spot for Liverpool's back line, given how rotated it was. But Salah also pounced on a rebound to level for Liverpool in the second half. Massive mistake from Tomori gave Mane the look he needed to capitalize. Another rebound from Maignan was nodded in by Origi. I mean, the guy just can't stop scoring clutch goals. And that was ultimately the winner. I feel for Tomori with the mistake. But Liverpool were deserved winners here, making it 6 wins from 6. The first English side to ever do that, Shout out Zach for sending me that stat, by the way. That loss meant Milan were eliminated, and it would be either Atletico or Porto advancing. And a fiercely contested match went down at the Dragão, as you would expect between Simeone and Conceição. 2 red cards, 1 per side, both for arms getting up toward faces, which is a no-no. The first goal was a weird one for Atletico, as Griezmann, it seemed like he didn't know much about it, and I think he was a bit surprised to see the ball fall to him unmarked at the back post like that. The second goal, however, perfect counter-attack from Atletico as Porto pushed for an equalizer. Griezmann rolling the ball into space for Correa to run onto through the middle, and I thought he had taken too long with it. I thought he had dwelled with it too long, but he picked out that bottom corner superbly. They even grabbed a third 2 minutes later, and a consolation goal for Mr. Manbun Oliveira. So Atletico Madrid advanced, Porto dropped to the Europa League, Milan eliminated. Group C was all very pointless, really, as all of the teams knew exactly where they were finishing in the table after the previous match day. But anyway, after Ajax slapped up Sporting in their own home on the first match day of the group stage, they then followed that up by slapping Sporting on the final match day of the group stage, beating them 4-2. Sebastian Haller broke the record as the fastest ever player to reach 10 UCL goals, as his penalty took him to 10 goals from 6 appearances. Incredible strike rate. In fact, the front 4 for Ajax all scored as Berghuis, Antony, and David Neres continued their strong campaign under Erik ten Hag. Borussia Dortmund moved on from their previous disappointments, and what better way to do so than to beat down the whipping boys of the group in Besiktas. Yes, a campaign to forget for Besiktas as they end the group without a single point. 6 matches, 6 losses. On this occasion, Dortmund scored 5 goals against Besiktas as Marco Rosa and co managed the minutes given to Haaland by bringing him on in the second half, but the guy still scored a brace. But again, the promising thing is seeing Daniel Malin scoring goals at a regular rate lately. Marco Reus with a goal, Jude Bellingham with a dominant performance in midfield. All good for Dortmund to close out this group. Like I said, we knew the standings coming into this match day, and they read as Ajax on top, Sporting in second, Dortmund down to Europa League, and Besiktas with a participation medal. Both Inter and Real Madrid were through already going into this one, and all that was needing sorting was who of the two were finishing in first and who was finishing in second. Inter needed a win to take first, away at the Bernabeu, by the way, while a draw would suffice for Real Madrid. Toni Kroos has been in fantastic form lately, and his long-distance strike with his weak, or I should say weaker foot, was a stunner. Great goal from him, and Rodrigo nearly doubled the lead not long after as his shot hit the inside of the post, but it did stay out. In the second half, Barella got a red card, but credit to him for bamboozling Militão with this ninja through the leg stand-up that he did. That was pretty funny. But there was nothing funny about Asensio's absolutely perfect strike to make it 2-0. That wasn't funny at all. That was a serious strike from Asensio that demands you stay quiet and pay attention. Keep your voice down, please, while watching that goal on loop. Brilliant goal from Asensio. He too has been in good form this season at Real Madrid. So, Real Madrid without Benzema get the job done once again, as Vini and Rodrigo are proving their worth time and time again for Ancelotti. The substitutes are contributing, all good over there for Real. Cameo appearance from Eden Hazard as well. In the other match, again, there was no sorting out there as Sheriff knew they were in the Europa League. Again, credit to them, man. 7 points in this group after that draw away to Shakhtar. Terrible campaign for De Zerbi and Shakhtar. Hello, welcome back 24 hours later. Benfica's mission was simple. Beat Dynamo Kiev and hope that Bayern beats Barcelona, and then you advance. Well, they certainly started incredibly well and could have had the lead just seconds into the game, but Rafa put a rebound over the bar. At the other end, Dynamo did the same, actually. It was a fairly even match, to be honest, throughout. In fact, if anything, Dynamo were the far superior side in the second half and controlled the game well, forced great saves out of Lacadimos, and their finishing let them down just a little too often. But before we get to that, Benfica did score an incredibly well-worked goal in the 16th minute as João Mario took control, played numerous give-and-goes, and then set up Yaremchuk for the finish. That was his first goal for Benfica since September 25th. Insane. Guy has been struggling at this club. 6 minutes later, and Benfica got a second goal as a misplaced ball from a Dynamo player fell fortuitously at the feet of Gilberto, and he managed to finish quite brilliantly into the top corner. 2-0, credit to him. Benfica cruising at that time, but like I said, Dynamo were the far better team in the second half, as per usual. Benfica always starts to suck a bit once they start making substitutions, for the most part at least. But hey, They go out alive despite Dynamo having 68% ball possession and outshooting Benfica 7-2 in the second half. Could Bayern hold up their end of the deal and get a win against Barcelona? Yes, of course they could. But it wasn't as easy as previous Barcelona versus Bayern endeavors, despite the comfortable 3-0 scoreline. Barcelona actually looked a more dangerous team at times in that first half, but as per the custom, as soon as Bayern get one goal, you know they'll score a few more and never let up. That's exactly what happened. It took a brilliant Lewandowski assist for a looping Muller header to get things started. Then Sané lashed one that Ter Stegen absolutely should have saved. I mean, coming off of his arm like that, that's poor from him. Poor from Sané in the second half as well, as he missed a couple of sitters, but with Davies going on a run and setting up Musiala for the third, Barcelona were sent down to the Europa League and Benfica advanced in second behind Bayern. Group F is incomplete. Unfortunately, we have to publish this today at this time, but with Atalanta and Villarreal getting postponed due to the heavy snow in northern Italy, that match has been postponed to today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central European Time. Just play in the snow, guys. It's fun. Oh well. In the other match, Man United took advantage of already knowing they will advance in first no matter the result and fielded a heavily rotated side and went deep with the substitutions as well. Players I have never heard of, to be honest with you, as you'd have to be a real Manchester United head to know the likes of Zidane Iqbal, Shola Shortire, and Teden Menji. I mean, the entire bench was unrecognizable, but they still managed to get a 1-1 draw against Young Boys, which is certainly a better result than that loss to open up their group stage. That loss against Young Boys I'm talking about. So United is through in first, Young Boys are out, and we'll see what happens between Atalanta and Villarreal. Group G had some sorting out to do, as any of the four teams could have advanced. All they had to do was win their match, and they were through. Lille went away to an absolutely slumping VfL Wolfsburg. How that team has crumbled, man. It's sad to see. And they got the win. Thanks to goals from Jonathan David, who took his tally up to 14 across all competitions, by the way. Burak Yilmaz got one, and Angel Gomes as well. Remember him? United product that went off to Boavista on loan, but is back at his parent club, Lille. Renato Steffen got a consolation goal for Wolfsburg as they finished on 5 points at the bottom of the table, while Lille topped their group. In the other match, Salzburg hosted Sevilla. Same scenario followed, in which whoever won would be going through. And you have to give a ton of credit to Salzburg, as they rose to the challenge and eliminated Sevilla. Well, sort of. Okafor with the goal, set up by none other than Adeyemi, and with Jon Jordan getting himself sent off with 2 yells in 8 minutes, it was done and dusted. Salzburg had to defend well, which they did, but the Red Bull football umbrella continues to deliver, man. Matthias Jaisel, remember the name. Coming to a league near you in the next probably year or two. Salzburg finished just behind Lille, Sevilla to Europa League. Wolfsburg crying in the club right now. Group H was another one that was sorted as far as the top two went. It was just a matter of sorting, in what order they were going through. Chelsea went away to Zenit and faced a Russian side in what was probably their best performance of the Champions League group stage. Zenit's, that is. 3-3 was the final. Plenty of changes to the Chelsea lineup that perhaps unsettled the defense a bit. I mean, when you see Sarr starting, you know that Tuchel is prioritizing freshness and resting players over form, as Sarr barely plays. Timo Werner grabbed a brace and an assist in a match that he was fantastic in. I still believe in this guy. His second goal was just a well-taken striker's finish, and the unselfishness of his assist to set up Lukaku was some great vision. And Zenit, Azmoun's goal was well taken, as Chelsea's defense was all over the place, and when he was in all alone, he rounded the keeper well. Claudinho with the other one in that first half, and Ozduev scored the equalizer in the 94th minute. It was a wild game. It really was. You could see Tuchel freaking out on the sidelines, man. In the other match, Juve played at home against Malmö, and Allegri continued on with a 4-2-3-1, and they looked all the better for it. It didn't fix their finishing, that's not how that works, but their general play was good against the Swedish side. Bernardeschi got one of the sauciest assists of the week as he hit a cross with the outside of his left boot, and Moise Kean nodded it past the keeper. If he can get up and running, starting to score goals at a frequent rate, then this team will get some much needed bite in the attack. And it's not like Cuadrado can't provide an assist from the flank, or Bernardeschi for that matter, as he showed today. So with Chelsea blowing their lead right at the death and settling for a draw, that means that they end up in second place. Yikes. While Juve take first, Zenit are Europa boys, and Malmö get 1 point. So that's it, guys. Next for you, I'll have the reaction to my predictions as soon as that Atalanta-Villarreal match is finished. And then on Friday, a fun video on a French club with a crazy manager. I'm Adrian. Sorry that Atalanta and Villarreal don't like the snow, but we'll have the final 16 soon enough. Take care.